I think you are live, and I think you are right side up.
Wow. So, massive apologies for all of this shenanigans this evening. The usual computer that we use for broadcasting seems to have decided that it wants to no longer be functional. And as a consequence, we had to switch to a different computer. That didn't work. So we've now switched and we're now broadcasting old school. We are broadcasting from an iPhone. So all of the usual microphone bits and that sort of thing that we usually have are not functional. We're just going off of the camera and mic. So we'll see how things go. Yeah. But I should point out, we had a great time last night. We hosted a number of our friends. I don't even remember how many there were, but there were a lot. And it was quite fun. And we had a menu, which Star can show you. I think there's a copy at some point. She'll show you. We had no less than 8 cocktails on this menu. There's one over there on that table. And we made at least one of every one. We did the Cargo Cult, we did the Winds over Innsmouth, we did the Flaming Moa, which the real complaint about the Flaming Moa was it took way too long for the flames of the Flaming Moa to go out. Yes, so that was quite fun. But we had flames, and there was cinnamon, and it was a thing.
Colleen had a great time.
It was a total thing.
Elizabeth, great time indeed.
We made zombies, we made ghost orchids, which were a huge hit, but I totally misunderstood the measurements. So I went to make 4 ghost orchids and wound up with 8 of them because we were putting them in coops, which were much smaller than what the original recipe called for. Everybody loved the ghost orchids, but I just had a bunch of ghost orchids. What else did we do? Blackbeard's Ghost, the Pimp Sanity, and the Black Magic. I think the Blackbeard's Ghost was the last one we did. We had at least one individual that tried every drink.
2.
2?
2.
No, because I don't think Zach had the Blackbeard's Ghost.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
But we did have at least one other that had 7 out of the 8. And they all got bad kitty stickers, because why not? I had stickers, giving them bad kitty stickers. So, successful party, we introduce people to each other, and they're going to be hanging out and doing things with each other, even in our absence, which I think is very cool. So, as a consequence, we're going to celebrate by breaking out the good stuff. We're going to be drinking some Samaroli this evening. I may also ask Star to, at some point, open up the back door and see if we get a little cross breeze or something here. I don't know, it was nice and cool down here yesterday. So that was fun. We had bubbling stuff with dry ice. I still have dry ice left over from last night because our dear friends Brooke and Andrea managed to score some dry ice where we couldn't find any, and they scored bunches and bunches of it. So I still have some dry ice left over, and we have a cold spot on the floor where the ice chest actually froze to the floor, which is kind of amusing, but appears that the carpet is fine. We're all good here. So what are we going to do? Well, first of all, we are going to drink to the ability to host parties and have friends over and bring friends together in new and interesting ways. So here is a little Jamaican Rhapsody Samaroli. This is one of, if not the most expensive rums in my collection.
It is still.
Which, it does not mean it is the best rum in the collection, although it's pretty darn good.
Wow, you have no idea what...
I have no idea. I have no idea where the camera is.
Because you can't see anything.
Right.
You have no screen, you have nothing.
No feedback,
Okay.
nothing. I can't see when comments are rolling in or anything else. All I can do is stare at the thing that looks like a face.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And hope that we're still rolling. So I'm relying on you. So
Okay.
there's that. And there's to all the people that we introduced Chris to.
Yeah, because our friend Chris came.
Our friend Chris came.
I realized how many of our friends I met at a bar.
Yes.
It was amusing. I don't know where those cups came from. Do you?
Yeah, they were a gift last night.
Oh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, these guys. These the little skull guys.
Yeah. Okay.
They're very cool.
They are.
Yep.
I saw one last night. I'm like, I don't know. I've never seen those.
Yeah, they're ours now.
Where are those from?
Yep. Isn't that cool? Yeah.
That is cool.
What else? Well, we also got a bottle of Real McCoy 12 from Zach and Amy. Yep.
Yum.
Oh, I want to do a special shout out. There were a number of things that got a lot of interest at the party that we did. This little guy right here, I don't know if you can see him. I'm not sure if he's in the camera frame. This little guy right here, this cheap little $5 or whatever it is plastic thing, everybody thought was way, way cool. So that's, shout out there, because sometimes the little cheap stuff is very awesome. The other thing, dear friend Becca made these guys for us. If you've been watching our show, we've made mention of these, of Becca Palsy and making these mugs for us. We've got 2 more of them. Everybody thought they were just the coolest thing. And like, where did you get those? Like, ha ha ha, you cannot get them because they are ours. Ha ha ha. I am apparently channeling my inner resident alien. Ha ha ha. Yes. Okay. I do that terribly, but it's okay. It's me. What are we going to do this evening? So, here's my thought. We have done one of the drinks I was going to do last night. I was going to put a gin drink on the menu so that we had something besides rum, and that was my intention. But when I printed up the menus, I realized I had left this drink off. Well, I wasn't going to add a 9th drink to the menu at the last minute. That drink is the Corpse Reviver number 2. Now, we've done the Corpse Reviver number 2 both for parties in the past as well as on this show. And the Corpse Reviver is from a series of drinks that are the day after kind of drinks, the next morning, hair of the dog kind of cocktails. But it is the Corpse Reviver number 2. And I can't remember whether or not we've done the original Corpse Reviver, which is nothing like the Corpse Reviver number 2. So I thought we would start with that. However, I'm going to do variations on it because we have the Corpse Reviver that is made with Calvados, which is a French-Italian brandy, and you can also make the Corpse Reviver with just an Applejack. And so we're going to do those 2 versions of the Corpse Reviver as a wake me up, hair of the dog kind of drink. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Now, what's very strange to me about this particular cocktail is, so it requires your booze, your Calvados or your Applejack, and it requires sweet vermouth, and it requires cognac. And we're going to use the Pierre Ferrand 1840 cognac. That's all that's in this cocktail. There's no sweetener, there's no citrus, nothing else in this. All I can think of is that this is intended to get you drunk again the next morning. But the drink calls for being shaken as opposed to being stirred. I don't actually see any reason why this should be shaken, but that's the way it is classically made, so we are going to go ahead and do that. We're going to make 2 different versions of this. So I need 2 different cocktail shakers. With the sweetest ingredient, which is sweet vermouth, and we don't need to drink a lot of this, so I'm going to cut the proportions in half. And so that requires, actually this is equal proportions, so it's 1 portion sweet vermouth, 1 portion apple brandy, 2 portions of cognac. So you can make those portions whatever you want. We're going to go with a ½ ounce of sweet vermouth.
Amanda got 2 gins today. Tomcat gin from
Bar Hill.
And Ransom Old Tom.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to try the Ransom Old Tom.
Absolutely.
Tell us how it is.
Okay, so there's a ½ ounce of the sweet vermouth. Next up, we're going to do a ½ ounce of the Calvados. Right there. And then in the other one, we're going to do a 1/2 ounce of Laird's Applejack 86. It's funny when you try to pull the cork out and it's a twist top. It's like, this gives in a strange way. Oh, right, I see. And then finally, it's going to be a full ounce of the Pierre Ferrand Cognac. We're going to be close. I think I have another bottle of this.
I'm not sure if we do, but it's available at ABC, so.
Right. All right, I'm cheating a little bit just to make sure I have enough. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we'll be fine. I went with 3/4 of an ounce on the previous one, so we're gonna do just a wee bit more. That. Okay, there you go. That's it. That's all that goes into these guys. These guys. Those guys, these guys. I'm sorry, I'm gonna disappear from screen for a moment while I get some ice. There's some ice there. So once again, I spent a lot of time prepping the location. So there's all sorts of cool lighting and little bits around and things hanging from the ceiling. We did up the fireplace, which has got spooky eyes and that sort of thing, and it's very cool. But what I should have done was spend that time behind the bar prepping, because once again, I did not, in fact, have my drinks pre-prepped. And in fact, during large portions of the evening, I was still having to run back to the refrigerator because I had forgotten to bring an ingredient out.
Yeah.
So, amusing, funny. Could have gotten drinks out faster if I'd pre-mixed, but didn't happen. Nobody seemed to complain. There was plenty of punch. We still have plenty of punch left. If you're nearby and you want some punch, let me know. Okay. Left-hand side, Calvados. And this is supposed to be strained. So we are going to go ahead and do that. Grab a strainer. Glasses here. Oh, nice tight Hawthorne. Right here. Okay, so this is the Laird's. Now for best effect, this is supposed to be drunk before 11 a.m. And you are only supposed to have 1 or 2 of these. Any more, and it would put you way back into the hangover range. So I don't know what to make of those kinds of stories. I'm not one that wants to wake up in the morning and have a cocktail. Especially this kind of cocktail. Wow, you can tell that I'm right-hand dominant because I got significantly more dilution off the right hand than I did the left hand. That's interesting. Who knew? All right, that goes there, that goes there. These guys go over here. And there we have it. We have 2 of the original corpse survivors, one of the oldest of the known hair of the dog kind of cocktails. So we're going to try this. I have no idea. I'm not sure I've ever had
An original corpse survivor?
I've always had corpse survivor number 2s, which are gin and chartreuse based, as opposed to this. So which would you rather try, the Laird's or the Calvados?
I want to try the Laird's.
There's the Laird's. Bon appetit, hair of the dog, etc., etc. Yeah, it's kind of a meh. I mean, it goes down relatively easily.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly wouldn't have wanted it in any larger proportion than what's there.
No.
Oh, as she takes another sip, she's getting the face. I think that's amusing.
I think the Laird's is a little better.
I like the Laird's better. I get, so not unexpectedly.
Uh-huh.
So the Laird's is Apple Jack. It's made from apples. It is supposed to taste like apples. Whereas the Calvados is a brandy that just happens to use apples as its starting point. Because we're using...
I'm going to leave them for you, though.
Because we're using the 1840, these are probably relatively close, as close as we can come to what the original might have been like today, I guess.
I like number 2 better.
Yeah, I do too. I like the Laird's better. Yeah, but I also needed to use up my bottle of Calvados because I've had it for a while.
Yeah.
It could also be the nature of the vermouth, because, you know, who knows? The vermouth is different than it was back then.
Yeah.
Neither one of these is going to be my choice of wake up in the morning and have a cocktail. In fact, if I'm going to wake up in the morning and have a cocktail, what I'm probably going to do is throw some rum or tequila or Kahlua or something like that in a coffee, or orange juice, something along those lines, right? Not something like this, but I tend to not get smashingly hungover where I need a hair of the dog to just put me back into mellow state.
Your wife did get a little smashed last night.
My wife was slurring her speech last night, so yes.
Amanda has some lards to use up, so she'll look for the recipe later.
I mean, I think we could play around with this and make an interesting cocktail from it. But here's the dirty little secret is I've made a whole bunch of cocktails over the last couple of days, or last couple of weeks, and I'm kind of tired of the whole creative process, and I don't feel like taking on how can I make this Corpse Reviver a better cocktail.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to. If that's what you wanted from me this evening, you ain't getting it. But you are going to get me making a couple of attempts at an original cocktail, because I also think that maybe the day after a heavy drinking round, you don't necessarily want something that's heavy on the alcohol. So we're going to try something else. We are going to take one of these guys, and we are going to riff off of a cocktail that I really want to like, but I kind of don't. And that's the Queen's Park Swizzle. So the Queen's Park Swizzle is a gorgeous drink. It has a layer of green on the bottom and sort of a yellowish brown mixture in between, and then a reddish top with the Angostura bitters on it. And it looks really pretty, and it's a swizzle, and I really like swizzles, and I think they're fun to make, but it just doesn't work for me as a cocktail. I don't know why. So what this does, you build this in the glass, as with most swizzles, and you're going to start with a bunch of mint leaves. And they say 8 to 10 mint leaves, but you know, you can go overboard if you want to with the mint leaves, especially because this is kind of a morning after-ish drink. We're going to do a second one of these as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Might as well just finish this off. 12, right? Okay, we're gonna need a muddler, or we're gonna need a swizzle stick, but we also need a muddler for this. So we're gonna just tamp this down. We want this tamped down into the glass a little bit. It would do. Yeah, that'll be fine. So I need now a ½ ounce of some kind of sweetener for this. What did I bring out as sweetener? Anything? I didn't bring out any. Oh, okay, all right. Nope. I've got my honey syrup right here. We can do that. Not a problem. Okay. So I need a ½ ounce of sweetener. So we're gonna go ½ ounce. And again, this is not straight honey. This is a honey and water mixture. And the intent here is so that you can actually pour it and it doesn't seize up when you add ice to it, which would be bad. Okay, so you're gonna take this and then you can add like a ½ ounce of some form of citrus to this. We happen to have lemon and lime. So this is just leftover juices that were on the counter yesterday. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go ½ ounce lemon lime juice. ½ ounce. ½ ounce. And then we're gonna muddle this because we wanna break up the leaves just a tad. I'm gonna use the flat end here as opposed to this end because I don't really wanna break the leaves up. I just want to gently bruise these leaves, get them to express some of their oils, but I don't want the bottom of this drink to be very vegetal. Now, one of the things that's nice about this drink is, of course, its visual appeal, but you sometimes, when you stick the straw in it, all you get sometimes is just mint because you're pushing it down into the mint leaves. So, that's a thing. That's one of the things I dislike about the Queen's Park Swizzle. Okay, next up, we're gonna do a true swizzle. So we're gonna fill this with ice, and then we're gonna take our little swizzle stick and we're gonna mix this all up. So bear with me here because my ice is all mixed. I've got some pebble ice, I've got some crushed ice, I've got some whole ice. We borrowed a friend's opal, which is a crushed or a
Pebble ice
machine. So we have a bunch of pebble ice. All right, so that can go in there. Nope, big cube. It goes back there. We'll do one of these one at a time. That seems like the better plan. Now here, you would normally put 2 to 3 ounces of rum in this as your spirit. We're not going to do that. We want this to be light and refreshing and spill all over the place.
Ooh, that's right, the bar mats.
That's what the bar mats are for. So this is Topo Chico. So this is a sparkling mineral water. All right, so we're gonna pour that in there. There's 2 ounces. And there's a 1/3 ounce. These glasses are larger than my normal Swizzle glasses. I think I may have to double up here. So let's, I'm gonna cheat. We're gonna go back to the drawing board here. We're gonna add another ½ ounce. We're gonna make these doubles. So I was like, why are you making us doubles? It'll be fine, hon. Trust me. Right, there. Because they're gonna be low ABV. It'll be okay. It'll be fine, he said.
Fine.
So this is what is this? This is rolling with the punches here. It's like, oh, wow, I shouldn't have gone with a larger glass. Okay. So what can I do? Oh, I can double these. All right, there's the honey. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and bring this back up to the top here, like such. Now, what I want to do is incorporate these flavors. So we're going to take the swizzle stick, and that's going to go down here. Right. And you want to get all the way down so you're touching the mint so you can bring up some of those mint oil, some of that mint oil, and then bring it down. And then you're going to do that again and again and again and again. But that's just mint, some citrus, and a little sweetener, some honey syrup. That's hardly a cocktail, and you would be right. So what we're going to do, though, because it's a Queen's Park Swizzle, is we are going to add bitters to this. And one of the things that I've talked about a few times on the show is every once in a while, you want to be out with your friends and drinking, but you want to stop drinking an alcoholic beverage. Or you just want a change of pace. You want something much lighter that maybe isn't alcohol so that you can return to alcohol later in the evening. A lot of bartenders will use club soda or tonic water and bitters. And that's essentially what this is. It's a kicked up version of that. So the next thing is, because this is your choice, we can do whatever kind of bitters one would like in this particular cocktail. I have no pride here on what we should be doing. I don't think the tobacco bitters or the allspice bitters are the way to go.
Yeah.
We could easily do Peychaud's or Angostura, but that's kind of boring. The color is nice, and usually you'd use Angostura for the color on this.
Plum?
We could do plum. Plum is clear. Oh, what about tart cherry and saffron?
Oh.
How about that? The 1821. And normally when you are adding bitters to cocktails, you are just adding small amounts. Here, you actually want to try and get some coloration. And so you're actually adding a fair amount of, in fact, I could just reach over here, pour about a 1/4 ounce bitters on top here. There you go. Now, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a little coloration to the top of this. Just like that. We're thinking that might be okay. I'm going to grab a straw. Let's go with Surfside Sips here. Stick that in there. And voila, you have a what I've tentatively named the Dead Queen's Park Swizzle. So we're gonna take a sip. That's actually kind of quite nice and refreshing and not at all alcoholic-y. It's because there's really like no alcohol.
Woo, there's ice on the floor here.
There is ice on the floor.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a nice thing to have on just a summer day or whatever. Or, you know, a meltingly hot November day. What the heck is up with that? So that's, there you go.
Okay.
There's your Dead Queen's Park Swizzle version number 1.
Uh-huh.
Version number 2 is still going non-alcoholic. Wow, I got lots of ice coming out over here. There you go. Let's see if I can't get the pebble ice out of here. Of course, the more pebble ice I use, the less pebble ice, the harder it is to find the remaining pebble ice in here.
You should give an Opal report.
I should give an Opal report. So we set up the Opal earlier in the day, and it produced a full thing of Opal ice. And that got us through the first 3-4 hours of a couple hours, 2.5 hours or so of the party. And then we had it still going, and it produced, by the time we got 2-3 hours into the party, we had yet another full thing of ice, and was able to get through the entire party and still have pebble ice left over. So yeah, it makes ice quickly. It makes pretty nice pebble ice. I would say the pebble ice is not particularly hard pebble ice, but this is also the Opal 1, so I don't know if the Opal 2 is any better in that regard of the harder ice. All right, what else are we going to do here? So we're going to change this up a little bit. I'm still going to add some Topo Chico. We're going to add 2 ounces of Topo Chico. But then we want to get a little funky, and we're going to try the Seedlip Grove 42. So this is a non-alcoholic distilled liquor drink thing. Spirit? It's not really a spirit. And this is a citrus flavor. It's not really their replacement for rum. All right, so there's 2 ounces of that. I think I'm going to go 1 more ounce of the seed lip, because I want the seed lip to be pronounced more so than the Topo Chico. There we go. And then with that, we're going to swizzle. So this should be very citrusy. At least that is the hope. So you may recall last time we had a party, I was doing like Mai Tais, I think, for the party. And we actually ran out of Mai Tai glasses, and more importantly, we ran out of straws. And so we were madly trying to clean straws during the party. Well, my dear wife and I sat down and said, we know how to solve this problem. We can contact Surfside Sips and get more straws. And, well, that worked out really well. We still had to do some cleaning of straws because a lot of people were drinking, but we got through it. So that was nice. So we're going to do there. Top that off with a little Topo Chico. Add bitters to this. I don't think I want to switch up the bitters on this because, well, then it wouldn't be the same, even though, well, we're just trying to hold something similar on these 2 drinks, right? So I think I did like 3 droppers and then a 1/4 ounce. So there we go. And there's the 1/4 ounce. Floated on top. And of course you can garnish this however you want. I'm actually choosing not to garnish these. I'm also looking for the lid that I just set down here. I've totally lost it. It's here somewhere. I don't know. Wow, that's weird. There's a black lid here on my black bar mat. Yep.
It's not in the lid of the dropper.
What? It's the day after a party. Give me a break. All right, I'm tired. So we're going to grab a Surfside Sip straw. One of these guys. We're going to stick that in there. And we're going to take a sip of this. So this is essentially the same thing, except we've cut some of the Topo Chico with the Seed Lip 42. And we're going to take a taste of this. Now this looks like you're drinking a proper cocktail. This looks like a proper tiki cocktail. There's no getting around that. Oh. That's a hit.
Yeah?
Yep. Mm-hmm. The Topo Chico one is fine. If you wanted to go even simpler...
So Amanda asks, you're calling it a cocktail, but isn't it a mocktail?
Sure, it's a mocktail. Although, it does have alcohol in it. It has bitters. So it is not a...
It is actually a low...
It is a extremely low ABV cocktail. How's that? It's not...
Woo! I'm barefoot, there's ice on the floor.
It is not a true mocktail because there is some alcohol in it because of the bitters.
Oh, that's yummy.
Yeah, this is really good. I like that.
I still have mine, so I'm going to let you have some of that refreshing cocktail. Mocktail.
So, what was I thinking? There was something, I had something on my brain.
Mocktail, low ABV.
Mocktail, low ABV. Oh, wow, is it warm in here? What else should I do? I don't remember. I don't remember where I was going with this. I do remember. So this is like the most complex of these versions you could do, because you're actually using seed lip or some other non-alcoholic distilled beverage in this. The previous one we used Topo Chico, so you have sort of a sparkling mineral, lightly effervescent mineral water. It's carbonated mineral water is what it is. I don't like carbonated mineral water. I like Topo Chico. I don't know what it is with Topo Chico. I just do. You could go even simpler and just do a club soda version of this. A club soda or tonic water, right? You know, and just eschew any other flavors, and all you would be getting is the mint, the citrus and whatever bitters you chose to put into this. So you could also very easily, if you really wanted this to be completely a mocktail, instead of using bitters, you could always use something like grenadine. It would be much sweeter, but it would be very easy to do, and it would be a nice sort of refreshing change of pace. And you can feel like you're out drinking with your friends, because nobody is going to say, oh my gosh, why are you just drinking water? This looks like a proper cocktail. I mean, you throw a mint sprig in it.
Not that there is anything wrong with.
No, absolutely. There is not anything wrong
And
with
if
it.
your friends are doing that, maybe you need better friends.
True, but you know, you could be out at some event somewhere, and you know, there's always the bro guys that will give you grief for not drinking a cocktail. And this is, you know, an easy way of handling that. There you go. You can just stick a mint sprig in there, and I defy you to see that in somebody's hands and not think that they're drinking a tiki drink, because they are. Did you want to kick that up just a tad and make it a little more alcoholic? You could always take something like the Don Chichi Fili Tutti Frutti Amaro, which is this wondrous pink sparkling color. Relatively low ABV, as I recall. 15%. So, I mean, this is a true mocktail at this, or true low ABV, right? You just spread that across the top there, and ta-da, there you go. Now, this is a true low ABV cocktail. And then you probably could stir it. This is one of my problems with the Queen's Park Swizzle, is it looks really pretty, but in order for you to get the true flavors of the cocktail, you have to stir it up and kind of destroy the visual image of it, but this works. That little bit of Amaro, of the Tutti Frutti Sweet Amaro, works perfectly well in this. That is a nice, lovely little thing. It's got a little bit of alcohol in it, but not a whole lot. It's not going to harm you on the day after. So there you go. That's the Corpse Survivor #1, done 2 different ways. Ta-da! And then, much more fitting, I think, for the day after cocktail is something that has a low ABV or no ABV to it, like the drink that we just did, which is, you know, the Dead Queen's Park Swizzle. So, or just the Dead Queen's Swizzle is probably a better name for that. Maybe have some wilted mint or something along those lines.
Yeah,
that would be good. Somebody says, I've had everything on your menu and I want something different, but I don't know what. And you're just like, oh, I cannot think. What should I do? You can go back to the punch recipe. What's the punch recipe, Pooch? The punch recipe is a mnemonic for creating a rum punch. And it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5 piece recipe. We've seen me do this before. So the first part is 1 sour. So you need 1 portion of sour. So let's go ahead and, Hun, do you want a full up punch or do you want like a half?
Half.
A half. Okay, so we're gonna try and use up our lemon and lime. So we're gonna do a 1/2 ounce lemon and lime juice. So note, we have a split base of sours. And now we need 2 sweet. 2 sweet. Huh. I could go back to the back room and get sweet. So if our 1 is a 1/2 ounce, this means 2 of our 1/2 ounces would be a full ounce. So we're actually going to go with 1 full ounce, but I'm going to split this between the honey. So we're going to do 1/2 ounce of the honey. And then Amanda's watching, right?
Yeah.
Hey Amanda, this is the Steens.
Ah.
So this is this incredibly thick, unctuous, molassesy maple kind of stuff. I didn't want to do a full ounce of this because I thought it would just completely take over the cocktail. The Steens is really nice though. All right. Yeah, it sank right through the honey syrup. That's kind of funny. So next up was 3 And the 3 is for strong. So 3 strong. So that would be normally 3 ounces of strong, but we're making this at half strength. So that would be 1.5 ounces of strong. We can reach for anything we want here off the bar in terms of our strong ingredients. Now, I'm assuming my wife is going to want rum.
Yes.
So here, let's play a little bit. Let us start with, this is taking no brain power whatsoever, right? I'm just like grabbing things. So we're gonna go with 1/2 ounce of a rum agricole that I happen to have on the bar. And this is the La Favorite rum agricole. So this is an unaged rum agricole. So it is very grassy. It is very much an essence of the sugar cane itself. And then I think we'll go with a Demerara rum. So we're gonna go with the El Dorado 8, a little on the sweeter side from Guyana. Good there, 2. Right, so there's 1/2 ounce of that. And then, let's add something a little more bizarre to this. I don't want to kick up the ABV on this, so we're not going to go with something like the Lemon Heart or the Hamilton 151 or even the OFTD. I'm just going to reach for this dark rum. This is Golden Plow Tavern's Old Republic Dark Rum from York, Pennsylvania. Now, is there anything particularly special about this rum? Yes. It is not normally this dark from its aging process. There's clearly some artificial color or carameling in this, and so that's probably where we're going to get some of the bitter flavors from a black rum. So that we're going to go.
We have another question.
Yeah.
Does the punch recipe work with any spirit, or is it just rum?
I usually use it with rum because it's from a rum punch recipe, but there's no real reason why it wouldn't work with something else. And we've done split spirit bases with this as well, including like a whiskey or rye and a rum base. We've done that. This is pineapple juice, and I know my wife loves pineapple juice. So we are going to go 3 ounces? No, that was, I'm sorry. I forgot we were doing half portions. Okay, well, I was going to cut that back, assuming we were going to get some dilution from this, from the ice, but apparently I didn't do that. So that's 2 ounces, which would be 4 parts. So now we've got our 1, 2, 3, 4, and the 5th is usually like a little bit of spice, something to just spice this up. Again, you're trying to not make this onerous on you. So you can just reach over to your bitters rack and pull something and put it in there. So what have we got? Magnolia bitters, chocolate bitters, lavender bitters. Any of this sound something like what you would like? Sassafras and sorghum, Japanese bitters, burlesque bitters, Oaxacan mole bitters. So I was like, I don't know. Polynesian kiss bitters?
Yeah.
Polynesian kiss, all right. The 5 is just the 5th ingredient. You don't actually have to put in 5 of something. But we're going to go ahead and kick this up a fair notch with 5 dashes of the Polynesian kiss. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that's not a mistake. I knew that I was counting on the fact that we were going to make this very much a little bit of a bitter forward drink. And so I went with the full portion of the bitters, not a half portion of the bitters. So now I need ice again. I would also like you to note that while I obviously have a fair amount of dry ice lying around, I'm not using the dry ice in my cocktails. And there's a very good reason for this. Dry ice is dangerous as a cocktail ingredient. If you don't have some way of containing the dry ice and it gets into a person's system, they literally can suffer sort of cold burns on the inside, and we've had people that have died, not here, people have died from ingesting dry ice. So don't do that. Thinking of putting some dry ice in a little cage thing that I have and putting it in there, but we're not going to do that. That's too complicated. You want this to be uncomplicated. As long as it's uncomplicated, don't worry about your ice. Don't worry about, well, I should serve this over crushed ice, or I should strain this, or blah. No, just dump. There you go. There's a nice dump. And here's some extra. There we go. And what you have here is a random rum punch. We're going to throw straws in here. There's one for Star. There's one for me. Or Star may end up drinking both of these. Who knows?
Tracy wants to know, what are burlesque bitters?
Is that tasty? Oh shit, that's tasty. Oh my goodness. Sorry for cussing. Oh, that's really good. That's really good.
That is really good.
Yeah, so there you go. That's, I don't know what I should do. I should grab my rum punch recipe and just go. What are you looking for?
Tracy wanted to know what the burlesque bitters are.
It's the burlesque bitters. So this is Bitterman's burlesque bitters, and it's a spicy little tart that is sure to tantalize your taste buds. The one and only burlesque bitters from Bitterman's. So this is 5 fluid ounces of 44% alcohol. And let's see, what else does this say? This melange of hibiscus, acai, and long pepper is sweet, spicy, and a bit of a tart. She loves performing for an international crowd, flirting with Italian Amari, Mexican tequila, British gin, and Caribbean rum. A perfect companion for drinks served where jazz is played and garters are de rigueur. Made from water, alcohol, hibiscus, natural berry flavors with other natural flavors, and maltic acid. Produced by Sazerac Company, Incorporated. There you go. So, boom, there's a punch. Yeah, it's pretty significantly alcoholic. There is, if you did a full one, that would be 3 ounces of alcohol there. Maybe not a hair of the dog kind of cocktail. This is much more, not even hair of the dog. This is just I just want to be drinking something that really doesn't have a lot of alcohol in it. And our very first drink, the Corpse Survivor number 1. I think both Star and I agree that the Corpse Survivor number 2 is a better call than that one. It's just not our style for next morning hair of the dog kind of cocktail. So there you go. I've done 3 cocktails, 2 versions of 2 of them, and we are going to call it quits, I think, at this point. How's that? Wow, the Steens is really good in that.
Yeah.
It may be a little overpowering. It's very molassesy. It's so good though. Oh, that's It's a sweet, tart blackstrap. It tastes like blackstrap rum. So I may think that for doing Jungle Birds, which often call for blackstrap rum, maybe a little addition of Steens will sweeten that up, counter the Campari a little bit, and make that pretty tasty.
Yeah.
Okay, we should call it quits. We've got to clean this up. I got to be at work tomorrow. And sometime this week, we will probably tear down all of the Halloween decorations that we spent the last week. Well, not all of them, because I think the crows are staying up. I think Star decided that had to happen.
They are pretty awesome.
They're pretty awesome. All right, my friends, non-friends that have just tuned in, anybody that went through the extra effort of looking at our postings and saying, wait, aren't they usually on at 7:30? Why are they waiting until this time to go? Thank you very much for being patient with us, dealing with the technical difficulties of this episode. We really hope that next week we've gotten all these technical difficulties worked out. This is not our usual technical quality. We will see you next week with better...
And Amanda says vote on Tuesday if you haven't already voted.
Yes, you should vote on Tuesday if you haven't already voted. If you have already voted, please don't vote again. That would be bad.
Yeah.
So, and if you do, don't tell me. I don't want to know. Please. All right, fine. We're rambling at this point. By we, I mean me. So I will talk to you all next week. This is Lovecraft Cocktails. Drinking up some daggone good cocktails. No, it still doesn't work. Some Riley good cocktails. That doesn't work either. It just sounds like a bad Southern accent. So I don't know what our tagline is going to be other than thank you very much for tuning in and dealing with this weekly little broadcast that is just a whole lot of fun for us to do. And we'll talk to you next week. Adios. Bye.